Ryla walked through the narrow streets of Vexor City with her head down, trying to make herself small. The world around her was loud, bright, and cruel, but she moved through it like a ghost. No one spoke to her. No one looked at her. And if someone did look at her, it was only with fear or disgust. To them, she was worthless. A mistake. A curse. She pulled the hood of her torn cloak tighter around her face. Cold wind brushed against her skin, and hunger twisted inside her stomach. She had not eaten in 2 days. She had no family, no home, and no reason to hope. All she had was the strange mark on her arm, glowing faintly under her sleeve. A swirling pattern of silver lines. A mark that made her different. A mark everyone hated. HFY Sci did not know why she had it. She only knew that her people believed it was dangerous. When she was small, the elders had whispered that she should never exist. Later, they stopped whispering and began shouting. By the time she was 12, they had thrown her out of the settlement. Worthless, they called her. A nothing child. She had survived in the city ever since, hiding in alleys, stealing when she was desperate, and living in fear of patrol guards who liked to chase out the unwanted. But tonight felt different. The sky was wrong. She noticed it first when a strange tremor moved through the ground. It was small, like a soft growl under her feet, but she felt it clearly. People around her stopped for a moment, confused. Then the sky flashed with a burning streak of light. A fire trail cut through the clouds, growing brighter, louder. A ship. A human ship. The crowd screamed and scattered. Vexor citizens hated humans even more than they hated Ryla. Humans were outsiders, troublemakers, dangerous explorers from far worlds. Their ships almost never came this deep into alien territory. But this ship was coming fast. Too fast it was crashing. The fireball roared overhead, shaking the city towers. It fell toward the old industrial ruins near the edge of the district. Metal shrieked. Sparks rained down. The crash echoed like thunder. Everyone ran away from the ruins. Ryla ran toward them. She did not understand why. She only felt a pull inside her chest, a strange tightness that whispered, "Go." Her breath came fast, her heart pounding, her legs moving before she could think. Smoke rose in the distance. Her mark began to warm under her sleeve, glowing brighter than ever before. Why? What did the ship have to do with her? She reached the ruins and saw flames licking the ground, broken metal scattered everywhere. The air smelled of smoke and burning fuel. She stepped carefully over collapsed beams, her feet trembling. She knew patrols would arrive soon. They would shoot first and ask nothing later. She should leave, but then she heard a sound. A low groan. Someone was alive. Ryla hurried toward the broken cockpit. Inside, a human man struggled to push himself up. His face was wounded, his suit torn, but he was breathing. When he noticed her standing there, he froze. She expected him to shout, to insult her, to call her a freak, like everyone else. Instead, he looked at her with strange recognition, as if he had been searching for her. "You," he whispered. "So you're the one they were hiding." Ryla's heart stopped. She stepped back, confused and afraid. "Hiding? What are you talking about?" she asked. The human groaned in pain and held his side. "Help me, please." She hesitated. Helping him could get her killed. If the patrols found her near a human, she would face punishment far worse than exile. Humans and Vexor citizens were enemies. But something in the man's eyes felt honest, real. He was not scared of her mark. He was not calling her worthless. Ryla reached out and helped him stand. The human leaned on her shoulder. "My name is Elias Ward," he said. "And you are not what they told you." Ryla's breath caught in her throat. "What do you know about me?" Before he could answer, she heard heavy footsteps nearby. Patrol guards. Many of them. Elias looked toward the sound, eyes sharp. They're coming for both of us. We need to move. Ryla felt fear rise inside her, but also something else, something warm, something she had never felt before. Hope. She tightened her grip on Elias's arm and led him deeper into the ruins. The patrol shouts growing louder behind them. Whatever was happening, her life had just changed forever. Riella guided Elias through the broken tunnels beneath the ruins. Her small steps quick and nervous. The deeper they went, the darker it became. Dust floated in the air. Pipes dripped cold water. Strange sounds echoed from far chambers. Ryla had survived in these tunnels many times, hiding from the world above. But tonight, the darkness felt alive, as if it was watching them both. Elias leaned heavily on her, breathing hard. His crash wounds were worse than she had first thought. His arm was burned, and his left side was bleeding. Yet even in his pain, he kept looking at her as if she mattered. No one had ever looked at her like that before. They reached a small chamber where the ceiling had collapsed long ago, leaving a low shelter. Ryla helped Elias sit on a stone slab. He grimaced, but stayed calm. "You saved my life," he said quietly. Ryla shook her head. "I only helped you walk." "That was enough," he replied. She did not know how to answer. No one had ever thanked her for anything. She sat awkwardly near him, hugging her knees as she listened for patrol footsteps above. They were still searching the ruins, their heavy boots and metallic scanners scraping against the ground. But for now, they had not found the tunnel entrance. Elias watched her in the soft blue light of his broken wrist device. "What's your name?" "Ryla," she whispered. "A strong name," he said. She frowned. "Most people say it is strange." "Strange doesn't mean bad," he said. "Sometimes strange is important." Ryla lowered her eyes. "No one thinks I am important." Elias studied her face, then gently took her wrist. She stiffened, but did not pull away. He pushed back her sleeve, revealing the silver mark that covered her arm like flowing metal ink. The mark glowed faintly in the dark. Ryla waited for the usual reaction: fear, anger, disgust. That was the reaction everyone gave. But Elias only breathed out slowly, almost in awe. "I knew it," he whispered. "I didn't expect to find one here. Not in a place like this." Ryla's heart jumped. "Find what?" "A starborn signal." She stared at him, confused. "I don't know what that means." He looked at her with deep concern. "Then they truly kept everything from you." His words sent a chill through her. "Kept what?" "Why do you know this, Mark?" Elias opened a small storage panel on his damaged suit. He pulled out a thin device shaped like a metal shard. When he pressed it, it projected a faint hologramma swirling pattern that looked exactly like the mark on Ryla's arm. Ryla's breath caught. That is my mark." "Yes," Elias said. "This symbol belongs to an ancient race. A race that had powerful abilities. They were protectors of worlds. But they disappeared long ago." She shook her head. "That cannot be me. I am nothing. My people feared me. They said the mark means danger. They feared you because they did not understand you," Elias said. "Your mark is not a curse. It is a key." Ryla stared at her glowing arm in disbelief. A key to what? How could someone like her be anything important? Before she could ask more, a distant metal clang echoed down the tunnel. Patrol soldiers were getting closer. Elias's expression hardened. "We don't have much time." "They were not searching for me. They were searching for you." Ryla froze. "Me? Why now?" They never cared before. Elias wiped dust off his visor. "Because someone discovered what your mark truly is. And now they want you under their control before you learn the truth." Her stomach twisted. Fear rose inside her, but also a strange spark. If the patrols wanted her, then maybe Elias was right. Maybe there was something inside her that she had never understood. Elias struggled to stand. Ryla quickly helped him. "We need to move deeper into the tunnels," she said. He nodded. "You know this place better than I do. Lead the way." As they stepped into the narrow passage, Ryla felt the mark warm again, glowing softly under the fabric. The energy pulsed through her skin like a heartbeat, not painful, not frightening, just alive. She touched the mark gently. "Why is this happening to me?" Elias walked beside her. "Because your power is awakening, and once it begins, it cannot be stopped." Ryla swallowed hard. "But I don't want to hurt anyone." "That is why you must learn," he said. "Power does not make someone good or bad. Choices do." They reached a split in the tunnel. Ryla paused, listening to the faint vibrations in the ground. Her senses felt sharper than ever before. She pointed left. "This way." "The patrols are coming from the right." Kelius gave a small smile. "See? You already feel things others cannot." Ryla said nothing, but inside her, something new grew, something she had never known. Confidence for the first time in her life. Someone believed she was not worthless. For the first time, she felt she might have a purpose. But she also knew something else. If the patrols caught them, everything Elias had told her, everything she was beginning to hope for, would be lost forever. And so she moved deeper into the darkness, her mark glowing like a quiet star, guiding both their fates. Ryla led Elias through the twisting tunnels as fast as she could, though her steps were careful and silent. The air grew colder as they moved deeper underground. Pipes hummed around them. Old lights flickered weakly. Every few seconds, she looked back to make sure Elias was still steady. His face was pale, and sweat covered his forehead. "You need rest," she whispered. Elias shook his head. "Not yet. They're close." Ryla listened. At first, she heard nothing, only the soft drip of water. Then far behind them, she caught the echo of heavy boots. Many boots. Marching together. And the sharp buzz of patrol drones sliding through the air. Her heart tightened. They were hunting them like animals. Ryla stopped at a junction where 4 tunnels crossed. The air carried tremors from multiple directions. She closed her eyes and focused. The strange awareness inside her, mark buzzed gently, like a quiet pulse. She sensed movement on the left, machinery on the right. Silence straight ahead. "That way," she said, pointing forward. Elias trusted her instantly. They continued moving, stepping over wires and broken metal plates. The tunnel narrowed. Ryla ducked under a low pipe. Elias followed with difficulty, biting back a groan of pain. "Are you sure you're okay?" Ryla asked. He gave her a weak smile. "I've survived worse. Besides, protecting you matters more right now." Her cheeks warmed not with embarrassment, but with confusion. No one had ever said such words to her. No one had ever seen her as someone worth protecting. They reached a wider chamber filled with old machines covered in dust. It might have once been a small power station. Now it was silent, except for the distant hum from patrol scanners. Elias pointed at a large metal crate. "We'll hide here for a moment. I need to check my wounds." Ryla helped him sit. He peeled back part of his damaged suit, revealing a deep burn. Ryla winced. "Does it hurt?" "Only when I breathe," he said lightly. She frowned. "You're breathing now." "Yes, very painful." Even in danger, he managed to make her smile a little. Ryla tore a strip from her cloak and soaked it in water from a nearby pipe. She carefully pressed it against his wound. Elias inhaled sharply, but didn't pull away. "You're kind," he said softly. even after all they did to you. Her hands stilled. I don't know if I am kind. I only know what it feels like to be alone. Elias looked at her with a gentle seriousness she didn't know how to read. You won't be alone anymore. Before she could answer, a sudden echo burst through the chamber. Drones coming fast. Blue light flashed at the tunnel. Mouth as two patrol drones glided inside, scanning the area with sharp beams. Ryla grabbed Elias's arm. We have to move. But Elias tensed. Wait, look. A large shadow moved behind the drones. A tall figure stepped into the chamber. A patrol captain in black armor. His helmet had red lenses that glowed like angry eyes. The captain's voice boomed through a speaker. We know you're here, girl. Come out, and the human will not suffer. Ryla froze. Elias whispered harshly, Don't listen. They'll take you. Or worse. The captain walked farther in, scanning the room. You cannot hide. Your mark belongs to us. Surrender, and you might live. Ryla's pulse raced. The mark on her arm warmed again, glowing brighter under her sleeve. She pressed her palm over it, terrified it would give away their hiding place. But the glow only grew. The nearest drone flickered, its lights dimming. The second drone twitched violently, sparks snapping across its metal body. Ryla gasped silently. I didn't mean to do that. Elias stared at her. You affected their systems. Without touching them, the drones jerked, confused. The patrol captain stomped forward, shouting commands. Stabilize. Scan for her energy signature. Ryla knew then they were not here for Elias. They were here for her. She was no longer worthless. She was valuable to people who wanted to use her. We have to run now. She whispered. Elias nodded. Lead the way. They slipped out through a narrow maintenance shaft behind the machines. The shaft was cramped and dark, but it hid their footsteps. Ryla crawled quickly, Elias following with slow, painful breaths. Behind them, the captain's voice echoed through the tunnels. Find the girl. She is the key. Do not let her escape. The word stabbed into Ryla's mind. Key. To what? She crawled faster, heart pounding. She could not understand her past. She could not control the power waking inside her. And she had no idea why these soldiers wanted her so badly. But one thing was clear: if they caught her, Elias would die. And she might never learn the truth. She pushed forward. Her mark lighting the narrow path with a soft silver glow. Deeper into the unknown, the maintenance shaft finally opened into a wider tunnel. And Ryla pulled herself out, breathing hard. Elias crawled out after her, his face pale with pain. The air here was colder, sharper, filled with the metallic scent of old machinery. Faint lights blinked along the walls like dying stars. Ryla helped Elias stand. We have to keep moving. We will, he said, gripping her shoulder. But first, Ryla, look at your arm. She frowned and slowly pushed back her sleeve. Her mark was glowing brighter than ever before, so bright that the silver lines looked almost alive. They pulsed softly, matching the beat of her racing heart. Ryla stumbled back. Why is it doing this? I didn't make it happen. It's reacting, Elias said, to danger, to fear, or to something stronger inside you. Ryla shook her head. I don't want this. I don't want to be a weapon. You're not, Elias said firmly. Weapons destroy. You save. But before she could answer, the ground trembled. The hum of machines ran through the tunnel walls. The patrol was closing in again. Ryla took Ilias's hand. Come on. They hurried down the tunnel, passing rusted control panels and shattered screens. The deeper they went, the more Ryla felt a strange pull, like the tunnels were calling to her. Like something ahead was waiting. Elias noticed her pace. You feel something, don't you? Ryla nodded slowly. Yes, but I don't know what. They reached a heavy metal door cracked open just enough for them to squeeze through. On the other side was a wide chamber filled with ancient machines. Tall towers of metal rose from the floor, each covered in dust and strange symbols. Ryla stopped in awe. What is this place? Elias looked around with wide eyes. This is old. Very old. Older than your people. Older than mine. Ryla approached one machine. Her fingers hovered above a metal plate covered in swirling symbols that looked skewed, almost like her mark as she leaned in. Her arm glowed brighter. The machine responded. Its surface flickered with light. Humming weakly after centuries of silence, Ryla gasped and jumped back. I didn't touch it. You didn't have to, Elias whispered. Your energy woke it. The machine grew louder. Light spread across its panels like awakening veins. A soft vibration shook the floor beneath them. Suddenly, a blast of electricity shot out from the machine. Ryla screamed as the energy wrapped around her like a living storm. It wasn't painful, but it was overwhelming. She felt heat, light, pressure, sound all at once. She felt every metal surface in the room, every wire, every spark. Her eyes glowed white. Her hair lifted as if pulled by invisible wind. Elias stepped forward. Ryla, you have to breathe. I can't stop it. She cried. It's too much. Energy pulsed from her mark in wild waves. Machines around her flickered, then snapped to life. Screens glowed with alien symbols. Power lines cracked with light. A tower of metal began to shake violently. Elias shielded his face from the sparks. You're connected to it. The whole system is responding to your signal. I can't control it, she shouted. Then don't fight it, Elias said. Guide it. Let it pass through you. Ryla tried, but the power inside her surged again. Boom. A shockwave burst from her body, shaking the entire chamber. Dust fell from the ceiling. Lights shattered. The machines dimmed again, returning to silence. Ryla collapsed to her knees, shaking. Elias rushed to her side. Are you hurt? She looked at her trembling hands. No, I'm fine. But I felt everything. The machines, they listened to me. Elias placed a hand on her shoulder. It means you're not dangerous. You're connected. You're meant for something bigger. Ryla stared at the silent machines. But I don't want this power. What if I hurt someone? Then you learn, Elias said. You grow. Power doesn't choose who you become. You choose. Before she could answer, the chamber doors behind them exploded inward. Drones swarmed in with blinding lights. The patrol captain stepped through the smoke, furious. There you are, he growled. The starborn child, Ryla, froze. Elias pulled her behind a machine tower. Run now, he whispered. The captain's voice echoed through the room. We saw the energy surge. She has awakened. Capture them both. Drones fired stun beams. Metal sparked around them. Ryla felt her mark pulse again, reacting to the danger. But this time, she pressed her hand against her arm, trying to calm herself. Not wild, not uncontrolled, a choice, Elias. She whispered. I think I can protect us. He grabbed her hand. Then do it, but stay with me. Ryla closed her eyes. The silver light grew steady, calm, controlled. Energy formed around them like a soft shield. When the drones fired again, the beams bent away, hitting the ceiling. Ryla opened her eyes, glowing softly. For the first time, she felt not fear, but control. Elias looked at her with awe. Ryla, you're becoming who you were meant to be. The patrol captain stepped back in shock, and Ryla took her first real step into her destiny. The chamber shook with the sound of patrol weapons, but Ryla stood firm. The glowing shield around her and Elias held strong, bending every stun beam that struck it. The drones buzzed around them in confusion, their systems unable to read the strange energy protecting the pair. Elias leaned close to her. "Ryla, we have to move. This shield won't last forever." Ryla nodded. She felt the warm pulse of her mark spreading through her arm, through her chest. Every heartbeat sent a wave of silver light across the shield. It felt natural, but also frightening, like walking with the storm in her hands. She lowered the shield just enough for them to run. "Now?" Elias shouted. They sprinted toward a narrow corridor at the far end of the chamber. Drones chased them, crashing into machines and walls when they failed to control their flight. Ryla heard the patrol captain shouting behind them, furious, "Do not let her escape. She's more dangerous than we thought." Ryla stumbled at those words. She didn't want to be dangerous. Elias caught her arm and pulled her forward. "Ignore him. He fears what he cannot control." They burst into the corridor. The lights flickered weakly, buzzing as if sensing Ryla's power. She felt vibrations through the metal floor footsteps, many of them spreading across the tunnels. "They're trying to surround us," she said. "Then we go where they won't expect," Elias replied. Ryla led the way, turning into a broken maintenance path. Pipes hung loose from the ceiling like metal vines. Water dripped down the walls, and the floor was uneven. She moved quickly, trusting the strange senses inside her. Every shift in the air, every echo helped her choose the right direction. But Elias slowed behind her. She turned. "You're hurt." He tried to smile. Just a little. She saw the pain behind his eyes. His burn had worsened, and one leg was dragging. Without thinking, Ryla slid under his arm and lifted part of his weight. "You helped me," she said. "Now I help you." Elias nodded gratefully. They continued through the tunnels until they reached a large, collapsed section of floor that fell into darkness. Ryla peered over the edge. The fall was too deep. "We can't go this way," she whispered, but the sound of drones grew louder behind them. Blue light approached. Elias looked at the wall beside the drop. There, a support beam. If we climb carefully, he didn't finish. The drones fired again. Beams hit the metal floor, sending sparks everywhere. Ryla reacted without thinking. Her mark flashed, and the air around them rippled, bending the shots away. Elias stared. "You controlled it that time." "On purpose." Ryla swallowed. "I don't know how long I can." She helped Elias toward the support beam. They climbed down slowly, their hands gripping cold metal. The drones reached the edge of the drop and scanned downward. But the gap confused their sensors. Ryla held her breath until she and Zess reached the lower platform. "We need to keep moving," she whispered. They hurried into another tunnel, this one far older. The walls were covered in strange carvings, smooth lines, and symbols similar to the ones on Ryla's arm. She touched one shape lightly, and it glowed under her fingers. Elias leaned close. "This confirms it. These tunnels belong to the Starborn." Ryla felt a strange calm. "Then this place is connected to me." Before Elias could respond, the ground trembled. Not from patrol steps, from something bigger. A heavy rumble rolled through the tunnel, like distant thunder. "What was that?" Ryla asked. Elias listened carefully. "They're using ground disruptors. They want to collapse sections of the tunnels to trap us." Ryla's chest tightened. "We have to get out of here." They pushed deeper until they reached a large, rusted door. Ryla placed her hand on it, hoping it would react the way the machine in the chamber had. For a moment, nothing happened. She felt a sting of panic. Then the symbol on her arm glowed brightly. And the door split open with a low groan. Ryla smiled in surprise. "It listened, or remembered," Elias said. They stepped into a massive underground structure. It looked like an old transit station with broken rails stretching into darkness. But at the center was something unexpected, a small emergency transport craft. Half buried in dust and debris, Elias' eyes widened. If we can power this up, we might escape the sector. Ryla touched the craft's side. The metal warmed under her palm, lights flickering to life. Elias stared in disbelief. Ryla, you just activated a ship that's been dead for years. Ryla felt her heart beat faster. She didn't know how she did it, but she felt the ship respond to her energy as if it knew her talk suddenly. A loud metallic crash echoed behind them. The patrol captain's voice boomed. There is nowhere left to run. Surrender the girl. Ryla stepped in front of Elias, her mark blazing like a silver flame. No, she whispered. I won't let you take me. The air around her shimmered. The ship powered up behind her. The battle for their freedom was about to begin. The emergency craft hummed softly behind Ryla, its lights flickering awake after years of silence. The glow from her mark reflected off the metal floor, painting the abandoned station in shifting silver patterns. Elias leaned against the ship's door, breathing hard but keeping his eyes fixed on the tunnel entrance. The patrol captain stepped into the station, his black armor shining under the dull lights. Drones floated behind him like sharp, mechanical shadows. There she is, he said. The lost Starborn. Ryla shook her head, fear tightening her chest. I don't know what that means. I don't know why I have this mark. The captain took a step closer. You are not meant to know. The truth was kept from you for a reason. Elias straightened, ignoring his pain. Because they feared her. Feared her power. The captain turned to him. Human, stay silent. You do not understand what she is capable of. I understand enough, Elias replied. I know she saved lives instead of taking them. Can your soldiers say the same? The captain clenched his fists, but stayed focused on Ryla. The mark you carry is not a symbol of honor. It is a warning, a control seal. Your ancestors were dangerous, far too dangerous to remain free. Ryla stepped closer, anger rising like heat in her chest. My ancestors? Who were they? The captain gestured around the ruins. Long ago, this station powered a network created by the Starborn. They were not simple creatures. They could command technology, shape energy, and bend machines to their will. They were nearly gods. Elias looked at Ryla. Exactly what I suspected. But the captain continued, voice sharp. They believed they were protectors. But power like that cannot be trusted. Civilizations collapsed under their guidance. Wars broke out over their gifts. And when the Starborn vanished, we swore never to let such a threat rise again. Ryla's voice trembled. So you hunted them? We contained what remained, the captain corrected. Your ancestors hid you among ordinary citizens. They hoped your lineage would be forgotten. But the mark cannot be erased. And now that your power is awakening, you must be controlled. The drones moved forward. Ryla stepped back in fear. Elias grabbed her hand. You're not a threat. You hear me? Your hope, not danger. The captain lifted his weapon. She will come with us. The human may live if he cooperates. Ryla's heart pounded. I won't go with you. The captain raised his hand to signal an attack, but in that moment, something unexpected happened. The ship behind Ryla projected a faint hologram into the room. A swirling pattern of light formed in the air, shapes similar to the mark on her arm. Ancient voices echoed softly, speaking in a language Ryla did not know. Yet somehow understood. The hologram displayed figures with glowing markings like hers standing beside massive machines. Walking among stars, guiding ships through storms of energy, Elias watched in awe. This is a Starborn memory. A message? Ryla felt tears gather in her eyes. They weren't monsters. They were helping people. The hologram shifted. It showed frightened citizens turning against the Starborn. Armies rising. Betrayal, chaos. A final message appeared. If one survives, they must choose their own path. Power born from fear becomes destruction. Power born from kindness becomes light. Ryla stared at the message, her heart trembling. It felt like a voice from the past speaking directly to her. The patrol captain took a step back, surprise flickering across his face. This technology should be dead. It woke because of her, Elias said. She is their descendant. The captain shook his head, furious. It doesn't matter. She cannot be allowed to roam free. He aimed at HFY Sci. Elias moved in front of her without hesitation. No. She cried. A blast fired. Instinct took over. Ryla screamed as silver energy burst from her palms. A shield formed instantly, deflecting the blast into a wall, where it exploded in a shower of sparks. The whole station shook. Ryla fell to her knees, panting, her hands trembling with light. I didn't mean to, I just reacted. Elias knelt beside her. You protected us. You didn't hurt anyone. But the captain wasn't finished. Your power is growing too fast. She must be subdued. The drones fired again. Ryla's mark ignited like a flame. Energy spun around her, forming a sphere of shimmering silver. The beams struck it and scattered harmlessly. Ryla glared at the captain with new strength. I won't let you control me. My ancestors weren't monsters. And I'm not either. The station lights flickered violently. The ship behind her powered up fully, engines humming. Elias pulled her toward it. Ryla now. We can escape. She hesitated only a moment, torn between fear and newfound purpose. Then she grabbed his hand and ran toward the ship. Behind them, the captain shouted, "Do not let them escape." The Starborn must not leave the station. As the ship's door sealed shut, Ryla looked through the small window. The captain stood frozen in shock, staring at the rising glow around her. For the first time in her life, Ryla didn't feel worthless. She felt chosen, and she was ready for whatever truth waited. Beyond the ruins, the emergency craft shook as it lifted from the underground station, dust swirling around it. Ryla stood beside Elias near the control console, breathing fast as the engine powered up. The walls trembled with the force of the ship pushing upward, breaking through debris that had trapped it for years. Outside the cockpit window, the patrol captain shouted orders. But his voice grew distant as the ship rose higher. Elias gripped a lever tightly. Hold on, Ryla. This ship is old. Very old. Ryla placed her glowing hand on the control panel. Silver light spread across the metal like flowing water. The ship steadied itself, engines humming with new strength. Elias stared. You're helping it fly. Ryla nodded softly. I can feel it. The ship listens to me. The ceiling above them cracked apart, letting in a burst of night air. The craft shot upward into the open sky. For the first time in her life, Ryla felt the world fall away beneath her. The wind brushed her face, cold and refreshing. She watched the towers of Vexor City shrink until they looked like tiny shadows. She had never imagined she would see the world from above, but her moment of peace ended quickly. A warning light began flashing red dot. Elias frowned. Patrol ships incoming. Ryla leaned forward. How many? Too many, Elias said. They won't stop. Not as long as they believe you're a threat. Ryla swallowed, fear tightening her chest. I don't want to fight them. I know, Elias said. And that is exactly why you're different from what they fear. Small patrol fighters shot into the sky around them, forming a ring. Blue lights flashed on their wings. They were preparing to fire. Elias clenched his jaw. If they hit us, this ship will fall apart. Ryla closed her eyes. She felt the mark on her arm pulse. Felt the ship's metal skin, its weak circuits, its ancient mind. Felt Elias beside her, brave, protective. Wounded but still fighting, she stepped to the front of the cockpit and placed both hands on the window. The fighters fired. Silver light burst from Ryla like a blooming star. The beams bent in midair, curving away from the ship. Some shots spiraled upward. Others dissolved into harmless sparks. The patrol pilots panicked, swerving wildly. Elias stared in awe. Ryla, you protected all of us, without hurting them. Ryla lowered her hands, trembling. I didn't know I could do that. T chose to defend, Elias said, not destroy. That's what makes you starborn. But the patrol ships regrouped. The captain's voice broadcast through their speakers. Surrender now, Ryla. Your power is unstable. You cannot control it forever. Ryla looked down at her glowing arm. Not long ago, she believed she was worthless. Not long ago, she believed she was unwanted. But now, she knew the truth. Her power was not a curse. It was a choice. She turned to Elias. Can this ship reach orbit? With your help, he said. Ryla pressed her hand to the main engine control. Silver light flowed through the craft. The engine roared louder, brighter. The patrol ships fell behind as the emergency craft surged upward, climbing higher toward the stars. The air thinned. The sky darkened. The world below became a blue curve. Ryla gasped at the sight. It's beautiful. Elias smiled weakly. And now you're part of something bigger than this planet. But suddenly a new signal appeared on the ship's radar. A faint pulse. A distant energy signature. Ryla felt it before she saw it tug deep inside her chest, pulling like an invisible thread. What is that? She whispered. Elias checked the console. A transmission. Very old. Very strange. He paused. Ryla, it's responding to your mark. The signal pulsed again, vibrating through the cockpit like a heartbeat. Ryla touched her arm as it glowed stronger. It feels familiar, like someone calling. Elias watched her with quiet understanding. Maybe you're not the last starborn after all. Her breath caught. The idea filled her with fear and hope all at once. If another starborn was alive, then everything she believed about her loneliness was wrong. But another thought hit her. Just as hard. If the patrols learned others existed, they would hunt them too. Ryla stepped away from the console, determination sharpening her voice. We need to find where the signal comes from. Elias nodded. Then that's our new mission. The ship's engine flared as Ryla focused her energy. The controls lit up with silver lines, adapting to her presence as if welcoming a lost pilot. Beneath them, Vexor City disappeared into clouds. Patrol ships faded into distant specks. Ryla stood taller than she ever had. They shunned me. She whispered, but I will not hide any more. Elias rested a steady hand on her shoulder. They shunned you as worthless, until one human gave you shelter. Now the galaxy will learn who you truly are. Ryla looked out into the endless, star-filled dark. Let them see, she said. Let them all see. The ship jumped into the unknown, chasing the ancient signal, and Ryla once unwanted. Once alone rose into her destiny as the last, and perhaps the first, of a new starborn era.